Eye in the Sky is a tense and emotionally gripping story that unfolds almost entirely in real time, focusing on a single military operation that quickly turns into a global moral and political dilemma. The film begins with a secret surveillance mission targeting a group of high-profile extremists in an urban area. Intelligence agencies have been tracking these individuals for months, gathering information through satellites, undercover operatives, and advanced drone technology. What initially appears to be a carefully planned capture operation soon becomes far more complicated when new information suggests that the suspects are preparing for an imminent attack that could take the lives of many innocent people. The command center overseeing the operation is located far away from the actual danger zone, highlighting the modern reality of warfare where decisions are made thousands of miles from the battlefield. Military officers, intelligence analysts, and political leaders from different countries are connected through secure video links, each watching live footage from drones circling high above the target location. The atmosphere inside these rooms is tense yet controlled, with everyone aware that a single decision could mean the difference between preventing a massacre and causing unintended civilian casualties. As the surveillance continues, a breakthrough occurs when micro-drones are deployed to gather clearer images from inside the compound, where the suspects are hiding. These tiny flying devices allow the team to observe details that traditional surveillance methods could never capture. Through this technology, the officials confirm that the suspects are not only meeting but are also preparing explosive devices and equipping themselves for what appears to be a coordinated suicide attack. This discovery changes the entire nature of the mission, shifting it from a capture operation to a possible targeted strike in order to stop the threat before it reaches crowded public areas. The moment the mission shifts from surveillance to the possibility of lethal force, a long chain of command is activated. Military leaders begin requesting authorization from political authorities, and the situation quickly escalates into a complicated discussion involving legal rules, international law, and the political consequences of using force in a foreign country. Each official involved approaches the problem from a different perspective. Some focus on the moral responsibility to save lives by stopping the suspects immediately, while others worry about the diplomatic fallout and the risk of civilian casualties. Meanwhile, the drone pilot responsible for carrying out the strike is stationed in another country, sitting inside a secure control room that resembles a high-tech cockpit. He watches the same live feed as everyone else, seeing the suspects moving inside the building and preparing their equipment. Unlike traditional soldiers on a battlefield, he is physically safe, yet emotionally burdened by the knowledge that he might soon be ordered to launch a missile that could kill people he can see clearly on his screen. This contrast between physical distance and emotional proximity becomes one of the film's most powerful themes. Just as the decision to strike seems imminent, an unexpected complication arises that transforms the mission into a heartbreaking ethical dilemma. A young civilian girl enters the area directly outside the building, setting up a small stall and beginning to sell food, completely unaware of the danger around her. Her presence changes everything. The target location is no longer a contained space filled only with suspects. It now includes an innocent life that could be lost if the strike proceeds. This moment forces everyone involved to confront the human cost of their decision in a way that statistics and reports never could. Inside the command rooms, heated debates begin as officials argue over whether the potential loss of one innocent life can be justified if it prevents a much larger attack that could kill dozens or even hundreds of people. Some argue that failing to act would be irresponsible and would allow the suspects to carry out their planned bombing, resulting in far greater tragedy. Others insist that knowingly causing civilian casualties violates both moral principles and international laws of engagement. The discussion becomes increasingly emotional and political, with each participant trying to balance compassion, duty, and the pressure of public opinion. The drone pilot and his crew are caught in the middle of this debate, waiting for a clear order while watching the girl move in and out of the potential blast zone. They calculate the probable blast radius, run simulations, and attempt to estimate the likelihood of her survival. These calculations are presented as precise numbers and percentages, yet everyone in the room understands that behind those numbers is a real human life. The pilot's hesitation and visible discomfort emphasize that even remote warfare cannot remove the psychological weight of taking a life. As the minutes pass, tension rises not only because of the girl's presence, but also because the suspects inside the building are getting closer to leaving with their explosives. Surveillance footage shows them preparing to depart, which would make it impossible to stop them before they reach crowded public spaces. The window for action is rapidly closing, forcing officials to make a decision under extreme time pressure. This ticking clock structure keeps the story moving at a relentless pace, mirroring the real-time nature of the operation. The political leaders involved in the decision are shown consulting legal advisors, intelligence experts, and even public relations specialists, highlighting how modern warfare is influenced by media coverage and global perception. Some officials worry less about the immediate threat and more about how the strike would be viewed if civilian casualties were reported on international news channels. This aspect of the story reveals how military decisions are no longer made solely on the battlefield, but are deeply intertwined with politics, law, and public image. On the ground, undercover agents positioned near the target building risk their lives to gather additional information and confirm the identities of the suspects. Their presence reminds viewers that while drones and satellites dominate the operation, human intelligence remains crucial and dangerous. These agents provide updates about the suspects' movements and the environment around the building, adding urgency to the situation as they report that the suspects are indeed preparing to leave soon. The most emotionally intense moments occur as officials repeatedly delay the strike, hoping that the girl will move away from the danger zone. Every time she shifts her position, the drone pilot recalculates the blast radius and requests confirmation on whether he is authorized to fire. The audience watches the girl's simple daily routine, selling food, talking to passers-by, counting her small earnings while knowing that her life is being weighed against the lives of many others. This contrast between her innocence and the cold calculations of military strategy creates a deeply unsettling atmosphere. Eventually, the situation reaches a breaking point. Intelligence confirms that the suspects are about to leave with their explosives, and the risk of a mass casualty attack becomes almost certain if no action is taken. The officials must decide whether to authorize the strike despite the presence of the child. The final authorization comes only after intense argument and reluctant agreement, illustrating how no one involved feels fully comfortable with the decision but believes it may be the only way to prevent a greater tragedy. When the order is finally given, the drone pilot prepares to launch the missile. His hands hover over the controls as he receives confirmation from multiple superiors. The moment is quiet and heavy, filled with the knowledge that once the missile is fired, there is no turning back. He follows protocol, enters the commands, and releases the weapon, watching as it travels toward the target on his screen. The explosion that follows is sudden and devastating, destroying the building and eliminating the suspects inside. In the immediate aftermath, officials anxiously wait for confirmation about the girl's fate. Surveillance cameras zoom in on the blast site, showing debris, smoke, and chaos. Ground agents rush to the area, and medical teams are seen arriving to help the wounded. The uncertainty about whether the girl survived becomes the emotional core of the film's final act, forcing both the characters and the audience to confront the real consequences of the decision that was made. As reports begin to come in, it becomes clear that the strike has successfully stopped the suspects from carrying out their planned attack, likely saving many lives. However, the condition of the girl remains uncertain for some time, creating a painful silence in the command rooms. The officials who had argued so passionately earlier are now quiet, staring at their screens and waiting for confirmation, realizing that their arguments and calculations have led to a real and irreversible outcome. The film ends on a reflective and somber note, showing how the participants in the operation react to what has happened. Some attempt to justify the decision by focusing on the lives that were saved, while others struggle with guilt and doubt, wondering if there could have been another way. The drone pilot, who physically never left his chair, appears deeply affected by what he witnessed, demonstrating that distance does not protect a person from the emotional consequences of war. Eye in the Sky ultimately presents a powerful exploration of modern warfare, where technology allows nations to strike targets